Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs postgame show podcast presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. So excited, I can't even say it, Cody.
So excited, Luke.
Huh?
So excited.
Wow, we even have the pitch doctor here, 9-3. And folks, you can't spell Wesneski without the W from win, or of course, also the K.
The K for strikeout.
The W and the K. Here's the deal. 9-3. It's the Wesneski game. Hayden Wesneski's major league debut. We just got finished watching it. And, of course, during the game, Wesneski comes in after 4 innings from Wade Miley. And I said to Cody, the first strikeout by Wesneski, we need a wellness check on Brendan in California.
I need a wellness check.
So we had, after you blacked out for about 10 minutes, you missed a strikeout. We had somebody go over, knock on his door, and then we said, well, he's alert. He seems to be all right. Let's have him on the podcast for the whole night. So
the only reason I'm on this show is so I can actually stay conscious. If not, I'd just be watching this over and over again, and I'd just be passed out. You would not find me for 2 days.
I mean,
well, then in that case, we're helping him. We're helping him in a way.
Medically speaking, we are helping. We looked at the chat going into pregame. We were like, honestly, what are we going to talk about in this postgame show? And the only hope was that Wesneski was going to pitch. Not only did he pitch, he shoved it down the Reds' throat. And I know it's the Cincinnati Reds, but this is the kind of debut you want to see. And your first tweet really got me going, because the pitch doctor threw out there right away what the horizontal break was on the first slider. And what did you have? What was it, 18-inch break or so, 14-inch break?
Inches. 18. There it is right there. Wow, you even got the tweet up there.
Look at us. Look at Sarah.
Look at you. Sarah, you are already killing it. Look at that pitch. 18 inches of horizontal break. There's only 3 other pitchers in the league that average more than 18 inches of break. No starting pitchers, by the way, average 18 inches. Wesneski could very well be the only guy with a slider like this. That's absurd.
I mean, you know what he reminded me of? And I know I'm going to take a lot of heat for this, but I'm just telling you, when you saw a couple of those sliders really break, especially in the 9th inning, I said, it's got a little bit, and don't go crazy, it's got a little bit of, and here comes the hook. It had a little bit of Kid K in it, right? It had the big sweeping break to it, and you knew it was coming, and he just kept throwing it.
Well, it jumps out at you right away, right? You don't even have to watch baseball. You could have watched 2 games in your entire life, and that pitch looks hard to hit. And so it's obvious right away that this guy is unique. He has something very special with his stuff.
Well, I mean, the thing was that when he came over to the Cubs.
I mean, look at Cody's smile. I haven't seen Cody smile like this all year.
I haven't been. I literally, on the pregame show, I talked about how I was miserable all weekend.
Look at you.
Didn't watch the Cubs.
I didn't even watch the Cubs. I watched 5 innings of Cubs baseball over the weekend.
Wow.
That's not like me, Brendan. I know we've never met in person, but that's not like me. This team has mentally and brutally just broken me this year, and I needed a break. And
you deserve a break.
Yeah. And tonight, they showed me that, hey, we love you, so we're going to put this kid out here, and he's going to shove it down the Reds' throats. I don't care if it's the Reds. That guy showed me something. I'm ready. I am all in.
So is he the 1 or the 2 next year? That's the only question.
I'm in. I don't care how.
How many Cy Young votes will he get next year? Put it on PointsBet. We can already put it up there.
That's right. We probably should.
Yeah.
And the podcast are already saying, thanks, Yankees. Little Jason Benetti. So he comes in the Efros deal, and we said in the pregame show, he was the most surprising trade was trading Efros.
Yes.
But this is why you traded Efros. If you can get a guy that can be a starter with this kind of stuff, and he's young, there's a reason you make that deal. And so while it caught a lot of us by surprise, still the biggest surprise was not trading Happ, not trading Contreras. But the move that was made, this was the most surprising, and he showed you a little glimpse of why the Cubs sought to get him back in the trade, why they were willing to deal a guy that looked like they had turned his career around and find a reliever. Now, when he went to Iowa and he pitched for the first game, big thumbs down, right? Everybody's like, oh, look, he got blasted, he's terrible.
Yeah.
After that, 18 strikeouts in 14 innings in his last 3 starts. Brendan, what was the difference between the first outing, which was a disaster, and then these last 3 coming up to this, and then, of course, including his major league debut? What was the difference, do you think?
Probably just comfort level. I mean, his stuff is still rating exactly as it rated when he was with the Yankees. Supposedly, this is all minor league stuff, so you don't really know. But you can see he's using that breaking pitch as his dominant pitch. Like, he threw that slider more than half the time tonight. And so I'm thinking, like, that reminds me of a few pitchers in the league. And they even mentioned it on the broadcast. They mentioned how he emulates his mechanics, perhaps, or his stuff after Charlie Morton. Morton's a great example, because Morton kind of has that 3/4 release point, but his fastball does not rate that well. We talked about Estrada's fastball rating really well. Morton's fastball does not rate that well. And it's likely, once the data comes out tomorrow, that Wesneski's fastball doesn't rate that well either. But he's so effective because Morton throws his breaking pitch more than any other pitch type. And that's what Wesneski did tonight. So I'm already thinking, like, he already has the breaking pitch that's jumping off the charts, but he has the feel for it where he's comfortable using that pitch as his dominant pitch type. That gives me a lot of hope. And of course, you need to locate your pitches. You need to have the command that needs to be brushed up. Maybe the development of a changeup as time goes on. Maybe even some tweaks on that fastball. But from your debut, the foundation's there, right? The stuff is already there. And now it's just adding on to that and getting him to a point where you can count on him to be a consistent guy every 5th day.
Do you think his middle name is Cy? Do we know his middle name?
It is now.
Hayden Cy Wesneski?
Yeah.
It actually goes well together. I like
Does
it.
good. It kind of flows.
I like it. Flow. Vibes.
That was vibes. You know, it was vibing. Cody kept remarking about his brother in the stands. He's like, oh, his brother's vibing. His brother's vibing. Look at his brother's vibing.
We need to get his brother on the show. I want to talk to him about I'm going to assume it was his first experience at Wrigley Field. I would love to talk to him about, his time. I want to know who he was hanging out with, because, like, he had a whole, like, family section sitting somewhere else, and then it was him and that guy with the beard and glasses or whatever.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, after that second inning, he's walking off and the camera pans to him and he's just downing his beer. I'm like,
somebody came to get him. I think they took him to nicer seats too at some point.
Yeah.
His cup spin rate, 99th percentile. He just throws those back. No doubt about that.
It's possible that the cup snake that was in the bleachers was half started by him.
Perhaps. Sources say, people were saying it. Sources from our podcast.
Rumors say, yes.
Brendan, we know, was freaking out over the slider. The tweet showed us that. Cody was just as excited about the brothers' vibes in the stands. Oh, his brother's vibing. His brother's vibing. I can't believe it.
I'm all about people. I'm all about watching people at baseball games. I love whenever, like, just random shit happens or the camera catches someone doing something stupid. I love it.
Yeah. But by the way, Rhonda just noticed the light.
Oh yeah,
we call it the Wesneski light now. It's like the Batman signal. We light it up every time he pitches.
Every time Wesneski pitches now, I guess we got to turn it on.
Yeah. And the other sign too. What does it say? World Series champions on the right there? It does, I think.
Yes,
people forget that.
And of course, points bet on the other side.
Yeah, of
course. Yeah, of course.
What do you guys like about the way the Cubs are trying to kind of move these guys in? Now, Killian, they went right ahead with the start, and we were a little bummed that Wesneski wasn't starting one of these games against the Reds, because there are opportunities there. But we have seen it work with Steele, and we have seen it work with Thompson, and maybe this is a good way to do it. Do you guys like the idea of bringing a guy in first time and, you know what, easing him in the bullpen situation and giving him a clean inning, go ahead, start it that way, and you don't have to worry about, starting the game? Do you like it?
Well,
I like the results.
I like that they're consistent with it, because it showed the success from Steele and Thompson and even Albert Alzolay to some extent. So I like that the idea of it is showing success. So if it works, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it or change or whatever. But yeah, I mean, how long do you do that until you give him a chance? We were saying that about Steele, or we were saying about Thompson. or at least I was saying that about Thompson a little bit. Kept going back and forth. I couldn't decide, and then he changed my mind himself with his own play.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, I am considering it's September and the team is out of it. I'm okay with this. But
I think it depends on the attitude as well, right, Cody? Like he has that like attitude. He's like cursing at himself when he's not locating his pitches. I love that. That's like that reliever mindset.
Yeah, and for like that first and second strikeout I watched, he's strutting off the mound like he's a bad motherfucker, and I'm like, I love that. Like that's
So
big,
do I.
like John Lester, Jake Arrieta vibes that like I've missed so much.
I love those like psycho pitcher traits. He looks like a psychotic person out there, and I love that.
Yeah, absolutely, and like
Takes one to know one, Brendan.
I
Takes
think-
one to know.
I-
I'm not just saying.
You got problems. I know.
I think that you see all those things and you're like, this guy's going to be a starter at some point, and I'm willing to wait for it. Yeah, I would love to see him make a start before the end of the season, but I can also be okay if they don't. He's already pitched 110 innings in the minors this year. Like, I'll be okay. But if he pitches like this the rest of September and then shows out in spring training, I mean,
Right.
I still think the Cubs need to go get some arms in free agency, but man, you can
have
pencil
to.
that guy into your starting rotation if he's going to pitch like this, man.
You know what I started to worry? I thought Cody was just about to say, when they package him with Nico and Steele to get Shohei, I knew he was leaving. See,
Did we trade him for Otani? Oh.
I liked what I saw tonight.
The trade value's up, guys.
I would do a lot of
I'm a
things to get
sick
Otani, but
motherfucker. Oh, gosh.
I mean, you just couldn't ask for a better scenario for his debut. Not only did he
Absolutely
pitch
not.
well, now of course, critics will say, well, it's against the Reds.
Yeah.
He still was pitching against AAA. They're 24 and a half games out or 25 games out of first place. Listen, they were major league hitters. It was in a major league game at Wrigley Field. He had to be nervous coming in. To be able to have that composure, Ryan Dempster talked about it in the broadcast, that he thought, the slider was great, but maybe the composure to throw like that in your major league debut is even more impressive. Like to be able to calm your body down that way and then still deliver. I mean, he was painting that outside corner with that slider over and over and over. So when they came out to argue it, was just kind of laughable. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't care if it caught 1/8 of an inch of that outside line but he was consistently hitting that spot. And
when he was
it
not
was impressive.
calls too, when he was not getting those calls, he's like looking at the umpire like, "Are you kidding me?" Like
Yeah.
making his debut already like almost starting beef with the umpire. I love it. Those types of attitudes are rare. The confidence is rare.
I think that one walk to Almora, ironically, considering for years we watched Almora not be able to walk. I thought from my memory, I thought that the last pitch he threw to him before that led to the walk was in the strike zone, but the ump got it wrong. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if he would have ended up walking him anyway. But again, one walk, 8 strikeouts. I mean, he had barely 60 pitches after the 9th inning. So if he had started the game, theoretically, he pitched well enough to give you a quality start. And again, I don't care if it's the Reds. You got to beat the teams on your schedule.
That's
and the
right.
Reds are going to be on the schedule next year. And so are the Pirates. And so are all the other teams. You
And
gotta
listen,
beat the teams.
Reds or Mets or Yankees or Cardinals, none of those hitters see starters throw breaking pitches like that. Again, no starters have as much horizontal break as his. So it doesn't matter who it is. No team has seen a starter do that. That's incredible. That should be very optimistic.
Absolutely.
And because I am the DOB, Director of Buzzkill, I also want to remind, every game's not going to be like this. I know that's not – I don't want to spend too much time on it. I'm just saying, we've seen other guys. You're going to have some ebbs and flows. There's going to be some good games, bad games. Don't freak out. But now you've seen why the Cubs were seeking this guy in a trade for Efros when everybody was all bent out of shape early in the trade deadline stuff, and they were like, what? Efros? How could you trade Efros? He was a lock. We just made this guy. That's why, because if you can take a good pitcher or a good relief pitcher and upgrade that into a top-line starter or a great reliever, you got to take the gamble. You're in a spot as an organization right now where you have to take those gambles.
Yeah.
You maybe you don't take that gamble, obviously, if you're in a pennant race. But because you're not, that's the type of thing you can do.
Yeah, that's the only good thing about being in the rebuild is that you have more leverage for trades like that.
And you have more opportunities to bring these guys in right now. Like, that's just the reality of it. For everybody that wanted one or two more free agents to push this team to be – and this isn't defending what the front office has done. I'm just saying it has allowed for opportunities, because if you had one or two more free agents and they were middling around 500 but still not going to make the playoffs, and you didn't trade those guys, then what's the point if you can't decide on some of these guys before you have to make those decisions with the roster at the end of the season? It's giving guys opportunities, get their feet wet at the major league level. Now, I want to see them take advantage of it. I want more Wesneski opportunities. I want more guys to taste that big league atmosphere. I said in pregame, I don't want to see more Ortega, Rivas, unless for some reason you have to fill out the roster that way.
Yeah.
I do want to see more guys. I know the 40-man impacts that, but this is why you want to see guys get their feet wet. Because when they do well, now he's got this to build on. This is his floor for building.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah,
and that's why you have all these relievers coming up. And maybe that's why we put so much emphasis on guys like Yeoman or guys like Brandon Hughes. And these guys who at first are like, who are they? They don't really have this pedigree. But if they can make some value out of themselves, then it frees up the opportunities to trade a Scott Efros for maybe a little bit of a riskier starting pitching candidate. That's the beauty. That's why all of these moves, all of these like pitch lab experiments, if you want to call it that, they have value because it opens up opportunities that otherwise would not be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only thing against that, though, is that I think we can sit here and agree that some of these experiments have gone on too long for certain guys.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I'm right there with you. I mean, ideally, we're not even doing these. We're just going out there and signing, aces and trading and getting consistent, projectable guys. That's my dream. You think I like watching these games out here? I'm like losing sleep over this, right? So I want projectability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stan Miller on the chat says, show us some graphs, Brendan.
I got no graphs. We had Sarah put up the tweet, so we got that.
Yeah.
I can draw stuff maybe with my hands. I don't know.
You don't have any heat maps? Do you have any crayons?
Not
you can
yet.
show us
I was going to consult you to make sure my colors were okay for you, Luke. Or maybe I'll do that after this podcast.
Ryan sent a really good tweet. Sarah just put up. Hayden Wesneski is the first pitcher since at least 1901 to make his major league debut as a reliever and throw 5+ innings, allow 2 or fewer hits, and strike out 8 batters.
There you go.
That's a hell of a stat. You got to do a bunch of different things there, but
yeah,
no
you
one's
got to work.
ever
He's
done
going
it.
to be a Hall of Famer. That means he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Just lock it in. We're getting Cy Young. He already got those.
See, Cody and I are not the numbers guys. We don't math. But we have guys like Brendan and Ryan that do math.
It's good.
Sometimes.
Our team is you're very versatile.
Yeah.
You got Corey. He's the meme guy. And then Brendan and Ryan are the math guys, and me and Luke are the vibes mixed with
Yeah.
Who's the most negative out of all of us? If you had to pick,
it depends on what the negativity is about. If it's about gambling, it's certainly Cody. If it's about the length of the game,
it's certainly Luke.
Guilty as charged.
That's true. But there's overall Cubs feel. Who do you think the most negative is? The outlook.
Yeah, and by the way, Brendan, so were you not on the draft that was going on during the game for fantasy football that we have here at CHGO?
I wasn't.
No, neither was I, because they sent it via electronic mail, and I don't read the electronic mails, and so I didn't get it.
Well, did you have your readers today? Where are your readers at? Maybe that's why. I have no excuse.
Right here, I have them from
it's only your fault.
First off, it was when he says electronic mail, all it was is a message in Slack in the Hangout channel where Will DeWitt, shout out to CHGO Bears, said, "Hey, I remember people talking about doing fantasy football draft. I'll set it up." Who wants to join?
Hangout section. Come on, right there. You lost me at Hangout.
To be fair, not to protect Luke here because he says some things about some certain second basemen this year that I completely disagree with. But I miss Slack messages too. So
right.
And then
yeah,
Corey's like screaming at me when I miss them. So I can
you text
empathize
me.
with you, Luke.
That's got to be a station-wide text.
I agree.
Some people in
Shane
the chat
says, "Who the hell uses Slack?" There it is. See?
Some people in the chat are saying maybe I'm the most negative, but I don't know.
Well, you do.
I don't think I am. I've been negative like the last couple months.
Here's where it is. I'm more grumpy, Brendan.
I don't want to be negative though.
I'm
like I don't
grumpy sometimes.
I'm not purposely
grumpy,
negative,
Luke.
But
I'm not purposely miserable like a lot of people on Twitter are. Like when things aren't going well, then I'm going to sit here and say this team sucks and we deserve better and blah blah blah.
He gets salty though, and he gets salty about the internet too. Like when Cubs Twitter goes angry,
I know he does.
or mentions go bad, Cody gets upset about that stuff. Bothers me. I don't care about it. You can call me old man all you want. It doesn't matter.
That's not old
man.
man.
I can understand.
Like
Some of those
If they
are.
call me an old man on Twitter, I just go, whatever.
They don't call you an old man on Twitter. I've never seen it.
But anyways, but nobody's angry tonight. Like David Snyder's having pistachio almond fields forever. Hey, if you want to fly that way, go ahead. That wouldn't be my way, but after that performance,
yeah.
Michael Collada, I'm not negative. Ricketts is.
Michael Collada saying he's not negative is the most Michael Collada comment of the entire season, to be honest.
That's good.
Just straight denial about everything.
Yes.
So if you had to pick your favorite pitching performance of the season, Pitch Doctor, by a Cubs pitcher, how would you rank them? And who would be number one?
I would say Wesneski's the clear number one, right?
Oh, really?
Just because
Wow.
You were excited
get
about Estrada.
We are in the moment, so.
I mean, I have a problem. I kind of get lost in the moment. I'm not going to lie about that, but I think this one's justifiable. You saw like the StatCast numbers pop out. You heard about all of his minor league outings, and you see it, and you see the results right away in 5 innings. But the fact that we're talking about Estrada and we're talking about Wesneski coming up here and breaking StatCast, like that's never happened in my lifetime. So, flip a coin, I guess, if you want, but this is new to me. So I would rate Wesneski number one and Estrada probably number two, just from the stuff perspective.
Because was it Hughes that came in and struck out a bunch of guys to start his
Yeah,
career?
that was
It was
fun
like
too.
5
That was fun
strikeouts,
too.
first 5
Yeah,
batters.
that
I
was
went
pretty
crazy with
solid.
that one too. Yeah.
That was pretty solid.
There was like an inning there with Daniel Norris where I'm like, yes, that changeup, but
Come on, you know that name is not allowed to be said on this podcast. Like you guys, you don't say
Norris.
certain names when you and Corey.
I got excited about a
Pitchers are little
VR
bit
hit
different.
once too.
Yeah. Well, what, Luke? No. Second baseman we don't do. Some pitchers we're okay, but infielders we don't do that. Sensitive topic.
So how long do you take to go out and buy the 19 Wesneski?
I already ordered the jersey.
Larry Boa? Is Larry Boa one?
I'm looking it up. I have the baseball almanac.
Other Cubs to wear 19. Wow.
I'm bad with numbers.
Only Larry Boa, like that, maybe 19. I don't know if he was 19, but that's close.
Was Jason Kendall number 19 in like
I thought
2007?
he was 18.
Was he 18?
No, okay. So Andrelton Simmons was number 19 last.
We didn't even remember the guy that wore it this year.
Yeah.
That's classic.
Then we got Cubs legend Koji Uehara
Oh, yeah.
in 2017. Jonathan Herrera, helmet hands,
Yeah.
2015.
He was
Never
good.
forget. To a Cubs legend. He should be put in the Cubs Hall of Fame for starting that shtick, in my opinion.
Dave Owen says Michael Collada.
Dave
Owen.
Oh, Dave Owen. Okay.
Dave Owen, the guy that got the game-winning hit in the Sandberg game.
Yes. Okay. Other names, we got Nate Shearholtz
Oh, I see one coming up.
and Matt Merton.
is that
That was
Matt
the next one I was
Merton?
gonna say.
So if you,
He's up
I
Troy as
love
well.
Matt Merton.
he's
You know, one of my
He's up
biggest
Troy, yep.
one of my biggest regrets is they did not call up Matt Merton in 2015. Like I wanted Matt Merton to be in front of the video board, to have everything come full circle, and it never happened. I'm so disappointed about that. It's one of
I
Theo's
remember that.
greatest failures. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's really sick about this game for Wesneski? I feel so good for all the fans that went out and bought those Andrelton Simmons jerseys and now could just tear off the name and put Wesneski on there and save their investment.
Or they could
the
just
spelling's
put
almost
duct
identical.
tape over it.
You know, that one guy that bought an Andrelton Simmons jersey.
Tyler Colvin is also one.
Or if you hung on to that Matt Merton in a long time.
Yeah, Bobby Scales.
Oh, Bobby Scales.
2010 Cubs. And then Rodrigo Lopez in 2012. Just some real legends, Cubs legends.
Nick G says you can Lee Elia.
That's before
And that's
my time.
ironic because I just said to Obvious Shirts, go ahead and print it.
Yeah.
Take it downtown and print it. Part of his great rant of all time. All right. By the way, Ryan Herrera, we're hoping will join us. He's probably talking to Wesneski and David Ross and have some great interviews and some insight for us. In the meantime, we're going to do a couple promo breaks here. Cody, PointsBet, tell us what you got.
Okay, PointsBet. It's my favorite app, guys. I already slammed Rams money line on Thursday, and I'm telling you, you should do it too. I know I said Pittsburgh minus 7.5 last week.
You screwed me on that, by the way.
I screwed Brendan. I screwed myself. And you know what? We had to deal with pain at the very end because they lost by a half point, or they didn't cover by a half point. The entire state of Pennsylvania is dead to me and will be until further notice. But the Los Angeles Rams are the play on Thursday Night Football. Sean McVay, 5-0 in season openers as the coach of the Rams. Coming off winning the Super Bowl. I know there's a Super Bowl hangover, but that's the play. You're welcome. When it wins, you can thank me. When it loses, you can yell at me. I am willing to take it all. Making it on PointsBet, my favorite app, like I said, PointsBet Sportsbooks, counting down the days until the football season with a new offer every day until the season kicks off. From now until September 8th, PointsBet Power Hour will unlock a new daily offer from 12 to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sign up for PointsBet now using code CHGO to also get risk-free bets up to $2,000. Don't miss out on your chance to get daily access to free bets, boosted odds, and so much more now through September 8th. But that's not it. If you make a $51 or more first-time deposit, receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker, like the Justin Fields one or the QB1 one up there, however you want me to say it. Please don't sue us, NFL. Download the PointsBet app today and use code CHGO to take advantage of this limited time offer. Don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services. And that said, the CHGO Bears deal, if you haven't seen it,
I got
awesome.
more on that coming up here in a second. But first, our next partner has a product I use literally every day. Started taking AG1 because I didn't have time, wanted better gut health, more energy, optimized immune system. And now I've been on it for 6 months. Oh, do I love it. Doesn't taste super healthy, which is the best part about it. Instead, mild tropical, right, Brendan? You've tried it.
Oh, my God, yes.
Oh, I look forward to taking it in the morning. Here's what
Every
this stuff
morning.
is. 1 scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. I don't know what adaptogens are, but they're good for you, okay? They start your day right. A special blend of ingredients supporting your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, aging, all these things. Look at the kind of juice going through my veins right now.
Ooh.
Late at night.
Look at him.
So,
He's
what is
glowing.
this stuff? 1 scoop of AG1. You're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole foods, superfoods. Did I do that part yet? Yeah. I
think
get a
so.
noticeable boost of energy. Focus is one of them, but I digress.
We're working on the memory part. That's a different, supplement for something else in the future.
It doesn't do anything for your vision. That's what it is. It doesn't
We
do
know
anything
that
for your
already.
reading vision, up-close vision. I get a noticeable boost of energy, so I take it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. Giddy up there I go. Lifestyle-friendly, keto, paleo, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free. Don't worry about it. You're all good with AG1. You're investing in an all-in-one nutritional insurance for less than $3 a day. It's recommended by professional athletes. More than 7,000 5-star reviews. Right now, reclaim your health. Arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. You don't have to take a million different pills. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D, 5 free travel packs with your first purchase, and all you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Cubs. Again, athleticgreens.com CHGO Cubs to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Do we have an alarm sound there, Sarah? Anywhere on the board?
Or like
an alert, a siren, an air raid?
Like that one?
Yeah, the party horn.
Yeah, the one that I always...
That'll work.
I mean, that'll work, but there's another one that I always hear at rap concerts. I swear Nelly used it like 50 times at the one concert I went to 4 years ago.
What about the Timmy Trumpet thing?
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, we had Timmy Trumpet, but I think legally we've been told to hold off on the Timmy Trumpet. I think we might have maxed out our Timmy Trumpet tries. Anyways, alert. This is not a test. This is happening. There it is. PointsBet and CHGO have a special offer for Bears fans right now. If you sign up with PointsBet today as a new user and bet $51 or more pregame or live on the Bears and Niners game, you get a QB1 shirt.
Oh, look at it.
Bingo, there it is.
Look at that. Like,
and a yearly CHGO membership for all of our written content from Ryan Herrera. Brendan Miller chimes in. Cody does too. Jared. Plus, your choice of one of these CHGO sweatshirts. You can't get them anywhere else.
Nope.
So check them out on the YouTube feed. If you're not watching there and just listening to this podcast later, go back to the YouTube feed. This is the only way to get them. Sick Drip, CHGO membership, and PointsBet. That's a winner chicken dinner.
Listen, the Bears have done nothing but disappoint me my entire life. But you know what? You can look good while you're also disappointed.
That's right.
That's all I can say.
I want that jacket on the left.
Oh, yes.
Look at
I
that.
need it like air to breathe.
Yeah, I want to see that one more
like
time. I'm not sure which one I would choose. So there's the hoodie jacket that's kind of got the hood tassels hanging down. I like that.
Yeah.
Then there's kind of a crew sweatshirt, right? So those are your two choices. I kind of like, it's almost like a Letterman's jacket, but it's a hoodie.
Yeah.
Zip up.
I like it.
I think I'd go that way.
Yeah.
Or all three at one time. I'm just going to wear all three at one time.
The Midway Varsity is some dope merch, according to Nick G. Nick G, sorry. Yeah. Again, my reading, I didn't have the readers.
I know.
Want to hear a funny quote?
Yeah, what's the quote?
Okay, it's from Wade Miley. Wade Miley is from Jordan Bastion, and I'm sorry, Ryan, if you tweeted this out too, but he tweets, as he walked into the interview room, "I don't know why you want to talk to me after what that kid just did. I'm just the opener." And that's why. That's why we want to talk to you, Wade.
But he's not lying.
He's not lying, though.
He's not lying. He was the opening act for that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really impressive. Now, there was a bunch of stuff going on before the game. We knew Wesneski had been called up. We knew we'd get a look at him sometime in the next couple days. Sure enough, there he is piggybacking the start for Miley. Wilson to the 10-day injured list, retro to 9-3. Adbert Alzolay tonight, 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 2 Ks, and a rehab appearance. Wouldn't mind seeing him come up and give a relief appearance that kind of looked like this before the season is over.
Now, he's a guy that I have pretty much cemented as I think I'd rather just see him be a reliever at this point because of injury history. Like, I don't want to go into a year and depend on 30 starts from this guy. You know what I mean by that? That doesn't mean I don't think...
Yeah, but what if you went in with him being the 5th starter or something like that? My feeling about Alzolay, and I'm curious what you and Brendan think. Like, I mentioned it a couple podcasts ago. Steele and Thompson were not proven guys going into this season. They were guys that had some moments at the major league level that looked good. They were highly thought of, but hadn't done it. Alzolay's the same. It's just the injuries have been dispersed in between. So I'm not giving up on Alzolay. Like, if his health comes around, he's had some moments. I know his splits were off and like some stuff, but he's also had some moments that were pretty good. And so I'm not going to rule him out as a possible rotation guy someday. Not yet. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the same for me is I'd ruled out Keegan Thompson before the season.
Fair.
And then
for sure,
he made me a believer. So
if you're going into next season wanting to win the division, which they should, it'd be kind of stupid to rely on Alzolay as a 5th starter going right? So if he's an option as like the 8th guy in a rotation, so to speak, I'm fine with that. I like Alzolay quite a bit. The reason I like him is because 3 years ago, completely different pitcher, curveball, four-seam guy. Now he's a sinker, slider guy, and he had so much success when he was healthy with those two pitches, although he kind of fizzled before he was injured last year. But against lefties, he got mashed. Against righties, he was locked down. So I can imagine a scenario where you're going through the game, you have a heavy righty lineup, and you throw him 3-5 innings, as you did with Wesneski tonight, and he does well. And if he can develop like a cutter or a changeup, which is what he was working on, he could be a starter. For me, it's just a health. He's had injuries throughout most of his recent career, and that's the biggest concerning factor for me.
Yeah. To me, it is the injuries. It's not that I don't think he's good or anything.
Right?
It's more about I just don't want to have to rely.
And you're not worried that he's more likely to get hurt again as a starter versus a reliever. You just think you count on him less as a reliever, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a little less,
right? Like if he could,
a little less dependence on the guy for your winning.
I think he would be great in the role that Hayden Wesneski played tonight as a piggyback guy. You get 4 or 5 innings out of whoever. Say it's like your 4th or 5th starter, whoever it is next year. And Alzolay is healthy and is fresh, and you don't want to use your entire bullpen. And you either have a solid lead or you got the lead, and he comes in and he's shoving it down people's throats so well that you want to leave him in there for the rest of the game, or just give you 2 or 3 good innings. I think there's value there for him with his injury history and how we've seen him in short spurts. I think that there's more value there for him than anything. And then, maybe if he can stay healthy and continues to pitch well in those situations, then maybe you can talk me into, a bigger role doing something else, whether it is being a starter or, I don't know, high leverage 8th, 7th, 8th inning, you know what I mean?
Well, I think the roles are changing too. Tampa Bay has like 3 starters, top heavy in innings, and then the rest are just like going back and forth from the bullpen in the rotation. So I can imagine the Cubs might want to follow that type of formula where you have just a group of pitchers who can go back and forth. You protect their arms, you protect them 3rd time through the order, and that's how you get the most out of their stuff. I think that could be very well what happens.
So, I mean, I like both of those blueprints for Alzolay. One, what we saw starting with the Wesneski tonight and kind of building up, or Steele did the same thing, Thompson did the same thing, or what you're saying, just having a bunch of guys that are kind of in that mix, and that's kind of what you're wondering, why are they looking for multi-inning relievers so much here, especially heavily at the end of the season. I'm just saying, the guy's 27. I'm not ready to give up on him because he's had some injuries. He has stuff that does play. So, that's true. And Carlos has another point. He says no innings for Alzolay next year with Ohtani and DeGrom in the rotation.
True. That's a great point.
Absolutely.
That's factual.
I'm
factual.
manifesting it.
Yeah.
Manifesting it.
Are we going to double bubble? Is this the first double bubble in the history?
Oh, wow.
Wow, double bubble.
Wow, you're next
Herrera
to each
and
other.
the pitch doctor in one bubble. Double bubble.
Look at that.
Wow.
I gotta say, I don't think that I've ever been on one of our shows with Brendan before. I've been on Brendan and Corey's show.
Yeah.
I've never been on one of these shows with Brendan before.
This is an historic moment right now.
Well, what about
Well, they wrote articles together. They're the tandem.
Well, what about
No, Ryan and I
first
DM
week
at
we
2 in the morning about the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
First week we existed, I thought you might have been on one that might have had this situation.
Oh, yeah, I thought so.
I don't think so. I don't think I was ever actually on it.
I remember
with
when we
Brendan.
first launched, the first week or two, we finally had Brendan on the show from remote.
Right.
And I thought it was.
And he was at work, and he was afraid of getting in trouble, and there was a
I
cubby
almost
in
did.
the
I
background.
lost my job for you guys over here. I'm getting a lot of heat. I know I'm not in there in studio yet. I get it. I will be there. I tried last time. It's going to happen. Just be patient. I promise you I'll be there.
I'm pretty sure Brendan didn't come on the first week, and then the week he did come on, I was in Arizona, so I wasn't on the show with you guys while he came on.
Could be because
I'm
that
telling you,
happened
it's
quickly.
history. A historical
All right.
day. Me and Brendan make history. Hayden Wesneski makes history. It's a big day.
Big day.
Wow. 73 watching.
Yeah.
17 likes. Pound the like button.
Absolutely.
For Wesneski, please.
Please pound the like button for Wesneski and for this historical moment in CHGO Cubs podcast history.
Yep.
Ryan, so what did Wesneski say after the game? Did he mention any? Did he give you any taste of his future Cy Young speech, or did he, or was he very modest?
He was modest. You could tell that it was like still. You could tell it was still like he was still trying to understand what just happened, kind of thing. Like he was still processing that he just went out and shoved for 5 innings.
Yeah.
In his major league debut. But he was kind of saying like, I didn't realize Chicago, like Wrigley Field, would be this loud on a Tuesday night.
Right.
That kind of stuff. Like he was obviously very grateful for the opportunity, but then just like, humble would be it was kind of a humbling moment. As good as he was to just be out there making his major league debut, shoving 5 innings, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, it was a great debut, and you can kind of tell it was still kind of nerve wracking for him in the moment. He says he gets nervous before every start he makes or every time he pitches, whatever.
You can't tell.
And so he
looks
not
nervous.
No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, so he said that, but it's just like you could tell like the nerves and like the adrenaline was still kind of carrying him through. But no, it was very, very modest, humble, just kind of grateful for the opportunity, and obviously he took advantage of it.
I think it's pretty cool when guys are willing to admit they noticed what was going on around them. A lot of times athletes say, I didn't even notice. I didn't hear anything. I was just focused on what I was doing. He was caught off guard by the crowd in September for teams that are combined 45 games out of first place. Imagine what he's going to get the next time he goes out to the mound, and now people have known that he has done this at the major league level. He's going to get the full Wrigley treatment the next time out.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. And when he finds out what his brother's doing, I mean, that's also vibes.
Ryan, you gotta get his brother, ask him to come on the podcast or something. Like,
track him down. Somebody said he had a Bud Light can on his head in the ninth inning.
Does anyone even know where he's at right now? That actually might be a concern. He may just be rumbling around Wrigleyville. I
hope he's vibing at Murphy's.
Right? Yeah, he's yelling at somebody. I love Detroit. You guys are great. What? You're in Chicago.
I saw you guys talking about like was he like chugged a beer on cam or something like that, and it was funny because we kind of asked him about a family. He said he had it was 15 to 20. I think he said something like 18 family members here, family and friends, and he's like, usually even when they come to minor league games, I'm really good about not looking at them, not getting distracted by them, but it's couldn't not get distracted by his family and friends today. That was pretty fun. He had a big group you could see on the TV, and I wasn't sure exactly where they were sitting. I didn't really look out, but entertaining the masses on TV and obviously doing enough to not throw Wesneski off his game, but just make him look and make him appreciate again, getting to kind of share this moment with them. Pretty cool day.
Ross or anybody else say anything about him? I mean, I assume they all kind of raved about his composure, his stuff. I mean, all of it was impressive. I just assume that everybody had great things to say about him. Nobody came out and said, well, it wasn't that great.
No.
Except for Michael Collada. Which I don't know if he actually did. I just assumed he did.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's safe to assume that Michael Collada was like, tamper your expectations, guys. It was okay. No, everyone obviously was very, praising him for what he did. Like Wade came in post-game for his kind of presser thing, and he's like, why do they want to talk to me? Did you see what that kid just did out there? I was like, these guys are just, him, Wade, Rossi, Jan, all really, again, praising what Wesneski did out there, because it was really impressive. And I mean, you want a historical stat? I worked on this for a few innings there at the end. It had a few. It evolved. It evolved as he pitched, but we finally came down to one. He's actually tweeted it out. Let me find it. He's the first pitcher since at least 1901 to make his MLB debut as a reliever, throwing 5+ innings, striking out 8+ batters, and allowing 2 or fewer hits. First pitcher since at least 1901.
Now, wait a minute. We had somebody else saying that earlier in the podcast. Oh, no, that was Ryan. We did. We had it. We put your tweet on there. I mean, that is, first of all, how did you find that? Like, what stat system are you scouring through to get that number? Because we said Brendan is our numbers guy, but you've now moved into second place for the math.
No, we're just using StatHead, man. StatHead goes back to 1901. It has everything you need. Brendan is the data guy. I just look for dumb. I'm CHGO stats and info.
Okay. This is like history, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
More like history.
Yeah, basically. That's what I'm saying. It's like me and Brendan make history, and so does Hayden.
Exactly.
It's just that kind of day. But I'm going to make that account. I'm going to be CHGO stats and info. I'm going to start tweeting out those stats that no one really cares about but just kind of look cool. That's what I'm going to start doing.
Yeah.
Corey says he's live at Murphy's with Hayden's brother.
Just I said.
Just like you said, Cody.
What I said.
Where he's at right now.
I'm the guy who makes up facts. FAX.
One other thing that I thought during the game was a good thing to hear, not just see the strikeouts and a great performance, but when Jed came on and said that Steele and Thompson, quote, they've done what they needed to do, end quote. And he was like, if they don't come back this year, it's okay. Yeah. I like hearing that. And he said, if they do, great. But they're watching the fatigue level and all those things. They don't want anybody hurt. They want them to have a full, perfect offseason to build on these 2 good seasons they've had. That's, I think, the right approach for them right now. I personally have seen enough of both guys that I would not have them pitch anymore, even if they wanted to. But I think that may be the way the Cubs are leaning based on that. Based on that quote, it sounds like maybe they're leaning that way, that maybe they don't need to pitch this year, and they want those guys to know that.
Yeah.
We talked to Jed earlier, kind of said the same thing. It's not injuries that they're concerned about, right. But again, it's like they don't want to ramp them up too quickly, throw them out there for no reason, and then get hurt again. It's more like I think they are kind of looking at it as hey, can we, just get them healthy into the off season? That's the most important thing right now. I know Ross has talked in the past about that it is beneficial to get to the finish line, to get there at the finish line, make that last start of the season and know that's the end. You did it. First full season in the big leagues, first full season as starter, you're there. I know Keegan maybe he's feeling good. He threw a bullpen recently. I don't remember. I think he might have thrown a bullpen today or yesterday. I don't remember exactly which day it was. I would have to go look at that real quick. He threw a live batting practice today is what it was, and looked fine. It seems like Keegan may be able to pitch not long. I think he was eligible to come off on Sunday. So maybe if things go right, he can pitch in the next week or so. Start doing whatever steps they have him do as far as maybe a rehab assignment or a comeback and whatever it is. I don't think they're leaning. I don't think they're definitely not 100% closing the door on them pitching again this year. But it is kind of one of those. Yeah, it's a discussion that they're having. Is they have seen what they need to see. Those guys have proven they're two young starters on the rise. That if they don't pitch again this season, I think they're still in the front office's mind still in a good place. The main thing is to get them healthy. So if they just can't come back in time to pitch again, that's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it's coming up spring training too that was shortened. You saw it affect perhaps Wade Miley, Kyle Hendricks. It also affected these younger guys too, who are still even developing their pitches. So I imagine if they don't come back in September, personally, I want to see them pitch because I want to have the mindset where you can confidently expect them to go through an entire season. But it's already been 2-3 weeks. At this point, that opportunity is already lost. So, from my perspective, if they don't pitch at this point, then they just, it's one step forward, and hopefully next year they can use this as a boost in their stamina and get on their throwing programs and make it through September next year.
and evaluate other guys that you don't know about. I feel like you know about those two guys. You might not know what their ceiling is, but I think you know what their floor is. Like they're part of a team moving forward. I think they're important pieces of the team. I'm not saying somebody's an ace or this, but like we know their floor. We don't know the ceiling. That's great. Now let's see who else is part of the team moving forward. Right?
Yeah, on pregame I said that I personally would like to see Thompson come back because he's been out a while, and I'd just like to see him, I don't know, like
more than Steele.
Yeah, because when he went out, he was struggling his last few starts. So I don't know.
You're a little worried about it, aren't you?
Yeah, I was getting worried.
I was worried that he was out of gas and that he was going to get hurt.
That's true too. Yeah. But I'm also,
I was freaking out. To be honest with you, Cody, I was freaking out. Corey was screaming at me saying I shouldn't be freaking out. But I want to see these guys get back and go through an entire season. So I'm greedy. At this point, they've been looking so good. In my mind, I don't want to think twice about it. I want to go into the offseason knowing they are in the rotation, but it might be too far past that point. You have to accept reality.
Yeah. Fine. Whatever.
I mean, I'm talking to myself more than you. I'm trying to convince myself.
Well, it ain't gonna take me that. It's not gonna take me that hard. I mean, honestly, I'd feel like I'd get over it faster if you want to give Killian another shot and just let's see what we got. Kind of like what Luke was saying, see other guys.
Yeah.
I've seen enough of Adrian Sampson. I think he's a very nice depth piece that can come up and down from AAA and spot start for you or be a multi-inning reliever or something like that. But I know on a winning team, he's not going to be in your 5-man rotation.
I want to see more Fernando Reyes pitch. I thought his stuff looked good.
Absolutely. I mean, he struck out Paul DeYoung. He has a career ERA of 0.00. Yadi Molina has a 18 ERA. I mean, and that guy's they're talking about him being a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, it's blasphemous, as Stephen A. would say. So
very much.
Very much so.
Real quick before we get to the all-important who you got and more, I do want to tell you about Owen, which stands for Only What You Need. Owen is a 100% plant-based protein shake that gives you nutrition that works as hard as you do. All their products are free of artificial ingredients, allergen-friendly, no gluten, no dairy, easily digestible. First heard about it when I found out QB1. Bears quarterback Justin Fields follows a plant-based diet. Owen and CHGO partnering up to give you this offer. 20% off your first purchase at liveowen.com, LIVEOWYN.com with the code CHGO20. Join me, Justin Fields, and all the other great athletes out there and try Owen, only what you need.
And Nicholas Moriano, because I think that guy, all he does is drink Owen and drink athletic greens. And
that's right, and groom the stash.
Yeah, and he might be the best looking person at CHGO.
Who's the best softball player on the team, by the way?
Speak for yourself, young buck.
What did you say, Brendan?
Who's the best softball player on the team? Is it Nicholas?
Oh, wow. I heard Herrera's really been picking it at third.
I don't want to give Herrera all the credit. He went to Mizzou after all. I can't.
Cody did turn a triple play.
Really?
I was
he was part of a triple play. My bad.
Which it wasn't even my fault.
My bad. He was part of a triple play. I knew the stat was there somewhere.
Not even just that, Stucky. He hit
Stucky.
Into a triple
Thanks for bringing that back up so everyone can know again.
Was it a line drive or was it a ground ball?
It wasn't
your fault. All you did was hit the ball.
Yeah.
Luke, before we get to who you got, Brendan, just so you know, I know you're looking at data and this is for you for when you do this. I want to say on Savant, it says that he threw a curveball. Wesneski threw a curveball, his most used pitch. He's asked about it later in the post game. Said it's more of a slider. It is. He calls it a slider. It's more slurvy. Maybe has a little bit of drop or a little depth to it. So when you look at that, it's one of those weird things where Savant picks up whatever it wants to pick up.
I know.
And
so it's true. Slurvy.
I've gotten in trouble in the past because I get excited about a pitch and they just misclassify it. So it's good that we have that confirmation.
Yeah, he said it's more of a slurvy, but he calls it a slider. I think he said his cutter is what is called a slider on Savant.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He threw 4 of those tonight. Those classified sliders, but they were thrown at 88. So that makes sense. That's good to know.
By the way, guys, now you're going to want to get to the ballpark and see Wesneski pitch in person with your own eyes, like Corey did tonight. And Gametime is the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. You ever dreamed about sitting in a seat you thought you never could, 50-yard line maybe, courtside behind home plate, floor seats at a concert? It's possible with the Gametime app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. You won't find a better deal this season on anything, especially Cubs tickets. Created by fans for the fans. Guarantees the lowest price. Herb Lawrence is using, says, bingo, way to go. And if you love CHGO, you're going to love Gametime. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in our podcast description or YouTube description. So
please,
thank you very much.
You can buy your Cubs tickets for really, really cheap on Gametime.
This is a lot of ads. Like, do I have to read all these ads on Thursday too? I'm going to be like out of breath by the time the show's over.
Well,
make sure you have some water.
Pass one along the Corey.
I need to take an extra scoop of AG1 that morning.
Yeah. We got a lot of people that want a piece of CHGO right now.
Yeah.
Owen for the recovery after that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely. We're here for you, Brendan. We're trying to help in all ways possible, man.
I appreciate that, Cody.
All right, let's get to it. The all-important who you got, and this was a showdown tonight.
It wasn't like
the most
anyone
heated
last
one ever.
I think maybe I'm crazy, but Corey says it. Stucky Nation won. Who you got? I agree. We're on the same page today that with 3 RBI and a home run, it was just enough to listen. We had some good games. This wasn't one of these futile nights where we're like, oh my God. Well, one guy got on base once because he was hit by a pitch, and another one was, balked over to second, so it should count as a double. We actually had good games. Like if somebody had taken Hayden Wesneski, it would have been the winner. If somebody had the guts to take Wesneski, it would have been the winner. But
I'm gonna say I'm not even gonna argue it. Like I think we all have arguments for who won. We all actually had good games. But Brendan is on the show. He is a lot more neutral than Corey is.
Okay.
We should let Brendan pick the winner. I think we pick the winner.
Yeah, Ryan wins this one. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't even see that one coming.
How much did he just pay him for that?
Okay,
now you give me your explanation pitch, Doctor, before we take you off the air.
Here we go.
Before we send you back to the West Coast, you tell me. I saved your life with a wellness check earlier tonight, and you're going to pull this crap?
I'm looking at Ryan right now. I feel like he deserves it. He's doing a great job. He's getting all these
We both were
quotes
2 for 4 the other night, and he stole one with leaving 5 guys left on base. Now you tell me, how 2 hits,
okay,
and how many RBI?
2 RBI.
I don't know.
The game-winning RBI.
Game-winning RBI, Luke.
How is that better than 3 RBI and a home run? And by the way, his guy had an error.
Game-winning.
His guy had an error.
Your guy had an error. No. On the box score.
It did not go in
not
the
an error.
stat book as an error.
Someone blocked Corey from this chat. I mean, this is like nonstop.
Marcus says Luke wins. Yep.
What about me? My guy hit a homer to get the Cubs on the board.
Jack Brown says that's
Cody,
BS. Luke wins easily. Grandpa Readers, I'll take that stand. Grandpa Readers wins. Who you got? The pitch doctor can be easily bribed with a bottle of red wine. See, now we're starting.
True. That's actually very true. So,
Jack
Ryan
Brown
not
saying it was not an error. The ball bounced funny. Thank you again. The people have spoken. And what are the standings now that I have won? Who you got?
Wait, whoa. Brendan already picked me.
I don't know what to say because we gave Brendan the
What do you mean?
You literally said we'll let Brendan
I said I
choose.
wanted to hear what he had to say, and then I realized he was a fraud.
If we can do this mathematically, we can look at the win
Can we do this?
probability.
Can we put a poll in the chat? Can we put a poll in the chat?
No.
I don't think we can.
And I don't think we can do it, but we've seen nobody has said Ryan wins. Not one person.
What inning was that game-winning RBI in? I can mentalize it right now. Is it the 4th inning?
But it wasn't like a
5-4.
5-4. It wasn't like a 5-4 game.
That was
In the 6th inning?
And let me point out that my
Mark,
guy tied the game, and without tying it, you can't win it.
Well, I'm sorry, Ryan.
Joe says
Ryan
we should
won
all
it.
lose for not picking Wesneski.
Well, Wesneski would have won.
You all lose, I guess. I don't know, but I think Ryan wins this one. You got the game-winning hit.
Thank you. So
Joel Martinez, what did he
Ryan
just
gets
promise
one
you?
vote.
Sarah, what do you think? I'm not your input doesn't fully
3
go into it.
RBI
But
and a
I'm just
home
curious
run
what you
versus a
think.
couple of bloop hits.
What?
Well, it's
What?
the majority of the comments. say-
The main hit that gave the Cubs the lead was not a bloop hit.
The first one was
Jed
the
Hoyer
first-
straight up called it vintage Nick Madrigal.
But the first hit that he got his RBI was like basically a pop up to right field
It
that nobody
was.
could get to.
Hey, you put the ball in where
It's a
no
double.
one's standing.
3 RBI and a
Exactly.
home run. That is right. That is
Someone
right, Stan.
says I should win. I kind of agree with that one. So-
And
Jack said
Jack's right.
that's-
Brendan, I forgot. Brendan is also obsessed with Madrigal.
I'm definitely not obsessed with Madrigal. I don't know where you got that idea
Yep.
from, but
Yep.
At all. Sorry, Luke. All the argument you want, I win.
Luke all day!
All right.
Exclamation mark. So, the captain of negativity, Michael Collada's even calling it out and saying, "I won."
I like that all he did was just put Luke.
That's right.
It.
Thank you.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
Michael,
no
I
idea
take
what he's
back.
saying.
Michael, I take back everything that Cody and Ryan have ever said about you.
I've never said anything
Ryan,
about
I-
Michael. I just think he's miserable all the time.
Ryan is a big cheater. Jack Brown.
Our,
Damn right, Jack.
All I'm saying is our guest.
There was
picker
someone
has
that said
already
extra
spoken.
points for Hap or Homer. So
Sir, have we lost the ecom? Did we lose the remote link? Are we not able to hear them anymore? We can't hear you guys. Well, I think we can't hear you. Did we lose him,
What are-
Cody? I
what
think
are
we
the standings
lost him.
now that I
are
got
you
my-
losing your
Oh,
hearing
my
too,
God.
Luke?
Oh my
you put
god!
my
All
point on
right,
Friday,
I'm
bro?
calling it. I'm being fair. I'm going to give Ryan the points since his guy did get the game-winning hit. It's 22, me leading, Luke 20,
This is such ageism. I
and
can't
Ryan
even believe it.
18. To Corey's 1 and Joey's 1 and
My
Maverick's
my
1.
ageism lawsuit against this place is going to be so epic.
You didn't let me finish off the rest of the standings. Corey has 1, Joey has 1, Maverick has 1, Rachel has 1, and Kevin has 1 and a
Disgusting,
half.
Corey. You know what we should do tomorrow, Corey? We should let Cody sit up here by himself for that travesty that just happened. Yep, Stan BS. That's
I just
right.
want
The people
everyone to know.
The people know.
You all get to watch this show for free on YouTube. How blessed are you? I'm just saying. To listen
This is the
to
most-
all of this.
Marcus,
The last-
Ryan,
the
2
last 10
thumbs down.
minutes.
2 thumbs down. You know what,
don't mind
Marcus?
that hate.
I'd love to know what the vertical break on these 2 thumbs down are. It's probably about 18 inches of vertical break on that.
First percentile, it's the worst. Too slow, Luke. Too slow.
I don't mind being the villain on this in this game.
All I know is I
Everyone
still
wants
lead.
me for being good.
Yeah,
What?
Lucas filing a grievance.
Well, that's not it's the same name as you. You can't have Luke's doing the same thing.
Sorry, guys.
Here's what we're
It's
going to
not-
do.
it's not-
I say the point
not the early
goes
2000s.
into some sort of neutral zone right now. And by tomorrow, we will let the Sox guys decide. We'll state our cases.
Nope.
I
Are they
already
still
put the
alive?
point in, Luke.
You can't take it out.
I'm not taking it out.
That's right. This podcast is under protest. First, they try to keep me out of their
Someone-
fantasy football league.
Oh
and then
my
they try-
God.
And then the only
Oh
game I am, the
my
only game I am
God.
playing with them, they try to take it away.
Oh my God, Stucky.
This is so.
I guess
hectic.
I deserve this
is so
after
hectic
4
here.
days off from you.
Authorities on the way. Insider trading. I call BS. Look at the chat. The chat is in an uproar right now. The positivity that we gained from Hayden Wesneski has been shoved into a toilet for the debauchery of what has happened here in this
Oh, God.
horrific.
All right.
All
Yeah.
I'm saying is, last week I said we should let the chat decide, and Luke was having none of it, so I don't want to hear this. Now.
That is
I don't want
true.
him. I don't want him saying
That is
anything about
true.
the chat.
That is
Man.
true. That is true.
Kangaroo
And
court.
you know what? I've been very fair all season. So,
Yeah, you have been, and there's a reason you're winning.
yeah, because I'm
You're
really
winning.
good at who
They've
you
teamed
got.
up. This whole thing,
You're a
they've teamed
gentleman
up.
and a
Listen to how they're
scholar.
complimenting each other.
Don't just wait. I got something
Even
negative
Ron-
to say
Rhonda,
about,
Jack,
about whatever
oh.
Ron says tomorrow. I'm sure.
You're my people. You're my people.
Well, Rhonda's a big Ryan fan. She
That's
always,
right. And
she always uses hashtag Team Ryan.
That's right. And but Rhonda's also fair.
all right.
She's the one that usually does Team
If you
Ryan,
think
and
so.
even she cannot muster
I
up the
think-
courage to say Ryan won this one.
I think she just felt bad for you. That's what it is.
I can understand that.
Well, Brendan, it was great having you on one last time. And thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs postgame show podcast. A wonderful win, 9-3. Hayden Wesneski, 5 shutout innings.
And a pissed off old man.
And that's it. Take care. Fly the W. We'll see you tomorrow.
Dab, 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 dab.
Oh, man.